Hello, everybody. Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America. See, the United States of America contains the Ohio State University. Oh, that's so insufferable. Yeah, well, it was a great win yesterday. Maybe we'll mention it. And we are streaming on the sports feed on the YouTube channel for the New American Media because the current events have bled into the college football world. There was a terrorist attack on Bourbon Street that led to the delay of a game by 24 hours. That'll be played today. So from the United States of America, somewhere that roots for the Ohio State Buckeyes, my name is Brian Engelman. That guy is TV's Blake Wally. And today is Thursday, January 2nd, 2024. Thank you so much for joining us here on the New American Media, because the old American media has failed you. We've had 3 or 4 tech glitches today. Normally we try to be bright and squirrely at 3 o'clock. Instead, it's 3:16. Thanks for finding us when we were able to. But we are allegedly streaming to a whole bunch of places. Please hit like and subscribe. Blake is on X at TV's Blake Wally, BlakeWalley. The New American Media is there at American_media_. We're also streaming live on Rumble. Find us, The New American Media. Hit subscribe. Looks like Blake Wally's YouTube channel is streaming, so find Blake Wally, subscribe to him there.
Right. No title, no thumbnail. I don't know what's going on, but it's there. So whatever glitch.
No title, no thumbnail. Yeah, I've set the thumbnail 3 different, but that's another story too. Yeah, it looks like Blake's streaming on a few different sites over here. I don't know. Kick is one, and then the yellow one with the ninja glasses. I don't know what that one is. Kick and Rumble and
D Live or something.
D Live. So yeah, follow Blake Wally, and thenextlevelnews.com is his archive where you can check out his stuff. But yes, the New American Media in all the places, and go to our Spotify account for the Agree to Disagree Show podcast. Yeah, you know, sometimes we get a couple views over there. We appreciate that. If you want to support what we do, we're on Patreon, so you can become a monthly subscriber over there. Yeah, so welcome to the new year, everybody. The stories we're going to talk about here, we're going to ask about Whitney Cummings. I think we're going to start with that one because everyone wants to talk about the terror attacks, and we will get to that, but we're going to buzz through a couple other things. Did you see her ringing in the new year? And should she be banned for reasons? Is this First Amendment one part of the stack? I know everything. Yes. Agree or disagree that the First Amendment should not apply to paid speech? So we'll discuss that. Also, we're going to ask if you agree or disagree that the legacy media will not tell the truth until they're exposed. Is that really what we're dealing with at this point? Also, are soldiers in danger of being radicalized from within? Do you agree or disagree that someone in New Orleans tipped off the bad guys regarding the lack of barriers? Kenneth, what's up? Saying he's watching on You Dudes. I don't know. You Dudes might be a very specifically different site. I mean, to each their own. But You Dudes or Two Dudes or whatever you're into, you know, Happy New Year. May the ball drop the way it's supposed to. Yes, so everybody, please leave your comments. We like to read them into the show. All of Ken's great jokes and all of your awesome feedback. We definitely miss you, Jocelyn, if you're out there watching after the fact. You were definitely like one of my favorite commenters. You always added so much context to the show. So if you have anything of value, please type them in the comments. Hit like, hit subscribe to the Agree to Disagree show as well. And of course, the main topic of today's program, asking if both of the New Year's terror attacks, if they were connected. That'll be the question that we ask ourselves. So all of these topics and more shall be discussed on today's show. Let's jump right into it. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Kenneth is saying that You Dudes is not a paid site. That's interesting to know. Frankie Brown saying Happy New Year, guys. Thank you so much. Frankie, thank you. Frankie.
Happy New
Frankie,
Year.
what'd you do for New Year? Kenneth, what did you do for New Year? And Blake, TV's Blake Wally, what did you do for New Year?
Nothing. Had some ginger ale. Watched some football. There you go. That was my big night. What about you, Brian? I watched, New York. I watched Nashville. I listened to some electronic music over the interwebs. That was my day.
Yeah, I had a dinner. Ended up going to what's that place called? One of those Dave and Buster's kind of places with like you pop money in the machines and you're playing like the arcade stuff.
Right.
Yeah, main event or something. But yeah, it's a brand new year, and I was like, oh, I'm just in such a good mood. I'm so ready to kind of have a brand new fresh year. Let's have good vibes in 2025. And it's like, holy shit, it's been 36 hours, and it's just, it's been a weird week of stories. There was a shooting in Queens yesterday. What was it, 16 dead? I can barely even skim these stories to keep up. Turns out that's probably not related to Vegas or Bourbon Street, but the subway attacks, we've seen that over the past week with the flames and stuff. And then it's just like, now we're seeing the Trump Tower in flame. There's a cyber truck in flames at the Trump Tower. And, this guy idiot mowing people down in New Orleans. We'll get to it. So yeah, I don't know. The title of today's show, I don't know what it's called anymore because it won't show me. It just says live with Restream. Which is weird because I've typed it in 3 times. Like I've said, I for the love of God, please deliver me from this madness and sign me to a network where somebody can handle all of the tech bullshit so I can just focus on the content. My God, that's my prayer to the universe. I'm ready. Give me a team of competent people. But today's topic is supposed
to roll your sleeves up and learn how to do it, Brian. There you go.
No, Blake. I've been crushing for 13 years and I'm tired. I can't play every position anymore. I've done the 3 things I've needed to do to get this stream live today 3 fucking times. And it failed all 3 times to the point where I've had to rewrite this title 3 times and it's still not in here. I didn't do anything but this is the burden I bear. I know how to do it. I've done 2 years of shows, but today it just didn't want to do it properly. I don't know. I can't make sense of it. I would love to be on a team of people where someone's good at this thing and they can handle that area of the production. But I digress. I'm fighting through all of this nonsense in the new year because we have to kind of talk about what's going on in the world. So, like I said, we're going to get into the attack stories coming on up, but let's start with Whitney Cummings, shall we? I think I watched what she had to say, and maybe we'll just play it, and I'll hold off on my commentary until we hear it. But does she deserve to be banned, Blake? We could start with that. Here, let's pull up the caption for this one. And by the way, here's a question of the day. If you were at home enjoying content, what were you watching on TV? Were you Blake, you had ginger ale, but were you which show did you have on? Or were you flipping between them, or
whatever the big networks. One was in Times Square, one was in Nashville, and then I listened to another one I liked on Twitch.
Oh, on Twitch. Yeah, I don't spend a lot of time on Twitch.
Yeah, Pretty Lights was on there, which I'm a big fan.
Okay. Well, what about Whitney Cummings? Are you a big fan of hers now?
Oh, absolutely. She nailed it. She had the she crushed it on New Year's with CNN. And she took some shit for it. I guess they're trying to smear. They're trying to twist this a little bit, of course, because that's all they can really do. Actually, let me pull this up. There's a few things. I haven't seen the full clip, but we can play it. There she is right there, calling out the Daily Beast to say, what did I say? That's a conspiracy theory. Of course, the Chelsea Clinton Daily Beast, what's left of it. is made a hit piece. Comedian's wild conspiracy theory filled roast shocks CNN host during the New Year's Eve show. Well, they certainly were shocked, but
Conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theories.
Who even uses that phrase anymore? Conspiracy theories.
Yeah, they've kind of lost their. It's no longer carries the same meaning that it used to. It's usually the conspiracy theories are mostly coming from the left now.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, but I'll tell you what, you couldn't pay for that type of headline. I mean, that type of headline will get you attention. I mean, she was trending, and that's what you want, right?
Yeah, and it was awesome, and it was it's humiliating for the left, but it was finally get to get some truth out onto a network that doesn't usually share much truth. So CNN's New Year's Eve broadcast, renowned for its campy chaos. Usually, sometimes they have like drunk hosts and stuff like that. They have a little fun. It's all good. Yeah. This year's show is no exception. From Ralph Fiennes performing a much viral Demur. I didn't see that Demur meme to DJ Diplo, I guess, confirming he was high on LSD. But even with that all in mind, the night took an unexpected turn when comedian Whitney Cummings' conspiracy theory-filled roast of the year left hosts Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen speechless. She says, "I think after what I'm about to do, I'm probably going to be in a huddle with a bunch of lawyers." I guess she was the creator of that show, Two Broke Girls, warned before the set.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Did you ever see that show?
The girl from Two Broke Girls, she's doing a new show with Tim Allen, a new sitcom.
Okay. I think I saw that he was doing some new show. I can't remember.
Yeah, I'll follow where Tim Allen goes. I like what he does, and he's been anti-woke for a long time. It's cost him dearly. I think he was on the ABC network, and nobody's worse than ABC, ESPN, Disney. That's for damn sure. And by the way, the reason we're streaming on the sports site, of course, like I said, because it impacted the sporting world. But I saw something weird where I'm trying to figure out who the official was. But right after quarterback Will Howard from Ohio State on the victory, great win over the formerly number one Oregon Ducks, he thanked Jesus Christ and this and that. And I think someone said he was warned not to say something like that. And then he was banned from being on the stage when they were accepting their trophy. I'm trying to unpack that story, but it's definitely being reported that way. I think Redhead Libertarian and a few others are talking about it. But yeah, ABC, ESPN, Disney is the worst company out there. So anyway, I digress. But anything Tim Allen can do, I'm a fan. I hated when they took Roseanne off of her own program and then rebooted it, called it The Connor. It's like, I'm good. I'm not watching that. I'm not going to reward this behavior. Yeah, I know. I still root for Cleveland baseball, even though they deleted my favorite team. But I don't know. I can't fight every damn battle. I just love the sport. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, I had no idea that Whitney Cummings, created Two Broke Girls. But yeah, check out Kat Dennings with Tim Allen on the new one coming out. I don't even know what network it's on. Maybe it's ABC for all I know. Doubtful.
Not sure. Well, it seems like Kenneth's got a big fan of Dave & Buster's. It's a fun fact. I opened a Dave & Buster's in Maple Grove, Minnesota in like 2006.
Really? I thought you had to stay 500 feet away from places like that. Ordered?
No, but yeah, it was really corporate and phony. And of course, since they opened it, they hired twice as many people as they needed, and they had to cut people. And then it was weird. They were actually going to make me a server because I was a bartender, and I was like a Vegas bartender. I was like the most professional of it. But then they were like, I didn't know if they were trying to get me to quit, but I actually made a mistake because it turns out servers make a lot more money, and they have to deal with a lot less of that stress. So I probably should have stayed. And when they said, "Hey, we'd like you as a bartender, but we'd rather make you as a server," I was kind of like, I didn't want to say F you, but I was like, okay, well. No, I'm out of here.
All right.
But it was so phony anyway. It was so annoying, the corporate structure. Like, hey, you got to reach out and greet I'm just not like cut out for that. I'm not a big, I'm not one of those type of bartenders. I'm more of a roll your sleeves up, get to work, rock the well, not a corporate speak guy. But
yeah, see, in that regard, Blake is Yeah, Blake works the speed well, and I would be the chit chatter around the corners. I definitely my main. No, that's not me at all. And you putting the sleeves up and just turning and burning the drinks, that is definitely you. And it's really the glue that holds the place together. But also, I love being the conversationalist as well. And I'm definitely a goofball when I'm in those environments. Fun fact: I went to a game. It was not for the Ohio State Buckeyes, but it was at the Rose Bowl where the Buckeyes beat the Oregon Ducks yesterday to advance in the college football playoffs. But I remember I was working one, and it was I believe it's Reggie Bush in USC with the Tush Push game, the Bush Push, and it was against Vince Young and the Texans. It was an epic game. But before it could even start, I'd been there for a few hours, and I'd watched the catering staff. I was bartending that day, just tailgating all day, big tents and food and drinks. And I watched the guy who was in charge. That guy worked with a different catering company who hired my catering company to supply some staff. And he was being a real big jerk to a lot of people and sending people home. And he just kept barking all day and really upsetting everybody. He was just out there trying to do their job and make some money and go home. And he finally ran out of people to give grief to, and he turned his attention to me. And I said, I am going to choose to walk home now, or I'm going to choose to leave this event before you can have the power trip to get rid of me. I'm going to leave you, because what you've done to all these people is, and it's the only time I've ever walked off of a gig. I have bartended at a lot of events with a lot of different catering companies, and I've never left an event. But the Rose Bowl, I did. So, yeah, I don't know. That whole industry. If you've never been in it, I don't even know how to begin explaining it. But it's a way of life, and it's a lifestyle, and we've dealt with just about every scenario under the sun, as you can imagine. Anyway, let's get back to Whitney Cummings here, because she kind of won. We could say that she won New Year's.
Yeah, I think so. There has to be somebody who wins. Why not her? You make a pretty good case. Yeah, there's some interesting musical acts, but yeah, she nailed it here. I'm not sure which clip to play here. We can try this one in case you guys missed it. You should definitely check
the 2024 election fried our brains.
Actually, this is only a 30-second clip. Maybe we should run the little longer one.
All right, we can
Let's hear it. Cummings, it is time for you to roast the year. Let's hear it.
Okay. Feel free to heckle me. Feel free to come for me.
Never.
I do believe we need to hold 2024 accountable for its behavior. That is what white women do now. We point out other things that are toxic because we don't get irony. And that is our truth. This was the year that people were behaving so poorly, we started being wistful about murderers. Remember, this was the year we were like, were the Menendez brothers so bad? Were we too hard on the Menendez brothers? This was the year we could not get enough of murderers. Gypsy Rose became our favorite celebrity because murdering your mom is so brat. They had her on a red carpet, a little on the nose for a murderer, but she was like posing in a fancy dress. We were like, slay, and she was like, I did. And of course, our heartthrob of the year was the alleged cold-blooded killer named Luigi, who is now in the same prison as Diddy, which I'm very upset about because Luigi already has a lower back issue. This was the year nothing made sense. Fertility was down, sales of baby oil was up, white supremacy groups reached record highs. It got so bad, Ariana Grande became white again.
Oh,
that's funny.
2024 totally broke our brains. Half the people I know think we're in a simulation. I'm starting to wonder. When I go to a website and it asks me if I'm a robot or not, half the time I get the quiz wrong. I'm like, does the shadow of a bike count as a bike? I don't know. Why am I looking at a grainy photo of a crack house? We just all broke mentally this year. Things got so bleak. We started watching the WNBA. What happened? And we also started watching older women in movies. Equality or insanity? You tell me. Demi Moore was in a movie called The Substance, showing that Hollywood's ready for a woman in her 50s to star in a movie as long as a hot 28-year-old wears a leotard for most of it. Pam Anderson's getting Oscar buzz for a movie she did wearing no makeup. Guys, it's not progress if you call it brave. Documentaries finally realized the only way to make money is to just make them about cheerleaders. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleader doc showed the girls being treated horribly, underpaid, crying. I thought I'd open a video on Hunter Biden's laptop. This is the year everyone hates.
Yeah,
Wow, the Hunter Biden laptop. Holy shit. Underpaid and crying. Oh my God. That was wow. That might be the winner so far. That's
it's clever to just kind of rapid fire. This is all seems to be very well rehearsed. I don't know if she's reading cards out there in the rain, but I don't know if they would let her read that stuff anyways. So this is really well done. Just calm, confidently on live TV with CNN, with two of the big names there.
And look at the body language. Look at the body language. I'm a huge body language aficionado. Anderson Cooper could not be leaning further away from this lady. It's like she has a garlic chain around her neck, or maybe a crucifix. Because I've always said Anderson Cooper, and I've met him. I've served him at one of these parties, by the way. He looks like a handsome vampire. I will always refer to him as a handsome vampire. But it looks like she's wearing a garlic necklace. Look at him angled so far away from her, trying to distance himself from these comments. Let's let it continue.
The movie The Joker, but if you do love watching men descend into insanity, in a couple hours you get to watch Andy Cohen do the countdown. In 2024, something's left us, some came back. Sanity.
Right there, I think Whitney Cummings, I understand it had to be tight. But sometimes you got to give some of these jokes just a millisecond to breathe. And I think maybe she should have started off with something roasting these two to get them laughing at themselves, because they're standing there silent. There's no engagement from them at all. There's like hardly a chuckle. They're terrified to laugh. They're going to get the Billy Bush treatment. Oh my God. If Trump says something about going to the locker room and grab him by the, oh my God, if I chuckle, I'm going to get fired. Remember the Billy Bush treatment? So like they're terrified, but now they actually broke into laughter. She should have started with something to break the ice and just get them laughing. Do a shot beforehand.
How do you prepare for that, Brian? Come on now.
No,
I'm easy to say now, right?
I'm
you're at the heat of that moment, and you got live TV in front of the entire country, and Brian's doing Monday Morning Quarterback. That's tough.
This is how you improve. This is to anyone who's going to do another event like this. Understand the dynamics of how awkward it's been for the 2-3 minutes we've watched. These two silent and leaning away because she's delving into issues that CNN's completely in the lying propaganda arm of. But we finally got them to crack because I said something about Andy Cohen reading the something or other. Roasting our team. That's so funny. But like you could get those laughs if you start that way. I'm just, this is what every good head coach does. You look at the game tape and you try to improve on it for next time. All right, go ahead.
All right. Well, there probably won't be a next time, but here we go.
He left us. Somehow crypto is back. Do you guys even know what crypto? No one thought the timing of crypto was fishy. As soon as women started making money, they were like, money's over. Money's over. I don't even know what crypto is. As far as I understand, it's just astrology for men. Like, 2024 election fried our brains. The Democrats couldn't hold a primary because they were too.
What?
No, that was my point. Yeah. Now they're opened up, and you heard another laugh on that crypto joke because she broke the seal. If you're out having a few drinks and you break the seal and you use the restroom once, now you're going to be going every drink. Now you're going to be going every 20, 30 minutes. That's just how it goes. But if you break the seal on laughter in the beginning, maybe they could be laughing through some of these 40 jokes. Anyway, go ahead. Just a thought.
Yeah.
Too busy holding a body upright.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Are we still rolling? Am I off?
Go for it.
That Biden one was maybe the
whole primary. Crypto is, as far as I understand, it's just astrology for men. Like, 2024 election fried our brains. The Democrats couldn't hold a primary because they were too busy holding a body upright.
Yes.
Are we still rolling? Am I off?
Go for it.
It was amazing that the pro-choice party didn't give their voters one when it came to the presidential candidate.
Thank you.
Kamala was forced on us so hard you'd think she was patented by Pfizer or Moderna, whichever one's. Oh God. Andy just gave me a very scary look.
No!
Let me be clear, though. 2024 was not only negative. The media wants us to believe this country is so divided, but we actually came together a lot this year. Like, as a nation, we unanimously agreed that we would rather see J-Lo in a toxic relationship than in concert. We all agree the government totally knows what drones are and aren't telling us. The drones are still up there, and we have no idea what's behind them. No idea. I mean, they're still up in the sky, so I guess we can rule out that they were made by Boeing. The point is, I think we all agree on a lot of things. And since I only have a minute left live on Establishment Media, why don't we just say a bunch of things that we know that they'll never cover? Okay, ready, go. Trump Jr. didn't have any silverware in his house. No one thought that was weird?
Thank you.
Are we still rolling? Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia put money into Disney, so just know there won't be any girl characters in the next Cars movie. Are we still rolling? This is wild. Okay, why have so many presidents' chefs died? Weird.
Yes, the chef.
The chefs died, yeah.
The Obama chef in 2 feet of water on a paddleboard with all of their secrets going down with him. Could you imagine?
Boy Scout of America, they renamed itself Scouting America. You know who else changed their name? Sean Combs. Just saying. Let's learn something in 2025. I can't believe you guys are still letting me go. This is amazing. I love CNN. Please stop me, Andy, because I will just keep going.
Happy New Year, Whitney Cummings.
Am I still streaming?
Yes.
This is amazing.
Bravo.
Yeah.
Well done. Because that little run right there about they're pushing it so hard. It's like they're sponsored by Pfizer and the party of choice, the party that says, oh, you need to have choice. They don't give you a choice for your candidate. I had really mainly seen that 3 or 4 joke little run, but there were some good ones before it and a couple after it. I like that. Bravo, Whitney Cummings. She joins who? Some of the best roasters. We would say maybe the best roast. Ooh, best roast. Ricky Gervais probably at the Oscars is probably impossible to beat. Probably. I saw Jeff Ross one on Netflix. It had a moment or two from Mark Normand, one of my favorite comedians. Saw him a couple months ago. But yeah, as far as great roasters, Blake, Whitney did it. They did the roast of Tom Brady. You know, it did what it did. But she worked a lot of info into this little 5-minute clip there. Pretty well done.
No, that was spectacular. So yeah, kudos.
I'd love to know what's a wild conspiracy theory, though. What part of that was?
Well, that's the exact point that she's making. So that's what the Daily Beast is saying. What did I say? That's a conspiracy theory. So, because there isn't one. That's all they can say. Well, it must be a conspiracy theory, but they just got some, I don't know, Grace Harrington, she's a breaking news intern. So that's it. They find some useful idiot in the ranks that's up and coming, wants to be a journalist. And she works for one of these rags, and they just have her do a little, spin piece. It's all good. Whatever.
Well, I liked it a lot. I'm glad that it was put out there. Do we have any more on this one?
We do not. I'm curious. Let's get through a couple questions. Frankie saying the airport is a great place to make money serving. Yes, actually, I was very fortunate in Vegas to work union, which the Strip is, not the Strip. A lot of Vegas is. The touristy areas are union. Also, airports tend to be a place where they have union bartenders, even in states that don't have union bartenders. Brian, I've looked into bartending here in Tennessee, and I'm finding that the hourly wage here is only like $2.13 an hour. So that's, if you get in the right venue, that's fine. But yeah, some states are very different when you make tips. But yeah, union places are good when you can get them. And the only places I know of are airports. And Kenneth is asking me about, have I heard of Duffy's or Hog's Breath? Yeah, actually, Hog's Breath is not that far from where my parents live. So I live close enough that I can make a visit once in a while. But man, that place is a little weird. Upstairs, downstairs, the area there has changed a little bit there. It's in kind of northern St. Paul there, up by Little Canada. But that is an iconic place. Kind of a fun place, but also kind of a strange crowd at certain times. Anyway, yeah, cool. Good to hear. I don't know if you've been there in a long time. Not familiar with Duffy's, though. But yeah, a lot of bartending history in and out of bars, behind or in front. Okay, Brian, what else do we get?
Let's shift gears to, look, we're talking
DJ'd at both. I got to look, I don't know. Yeah.
Oh.
One of those things I want to look into. You don't have to have any musical background, right? You just got to like music and then find just mash up the different songs with certain beats. I don't know much about that, Brian. Turntables and all that. Do you know much about that?
Yeah. I I've put on a lot of events, and we've had music going. And my brother was a DJ. He was a DJ in our band during our first CD, kind of like early Incubus style off Make Yourself or Science album. A lot of scratching and sampling and shit. Yeah, but I mean, there's different kinds of and of course, my buddy Sam. I've spent a lot of time around turntables. I know there's not too much involved with mixing them and kind of doing it, but I've never really spent the time to learn it or how to do basic scratching. It's kind of a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of this.
Yeah, it looks easy from my perspective, but I have no idea. I'm sure it's very difficult, and you have to have a lot of different stuff. And there's got to be a whole science behind getting everything kind of lined up.
A little bit. I think it's probably 10 hours of just getting the muscle memory down, of kind of knowing where you want to be, getting some of the basics. And then you could, of course, pull out your bag of tricks infinitely after that. You get sample pads and you can add all sorts of. Sam had some really cool shit. Like they were like dice. I don't know what the device was. It was like a hard drive, like a piece of hardware. I think it was attached and it was like dice. And so if you hit the number 6 on the die, it would stutter it 6 times. You go to 3 and you could like sample it and loop it and you hold it and it keeps going. So then you grab something. There's a million things you could do, but I'm guessing after 10 hours of just watching some tutorials, getting some basic equipment, having a nice soundscape in front of you, and you just want to keep it in the pocket and stay just, if I can ride the beat and just not have too many train wrecks. So I think that's like they call it a train wreck or a car crash or something when the beats don't jive with each other. I bet a lot of people could do some serious DJing work, but also you could just play, you could fade a song out as you fade another song in, and you could do that on, iMusic or whatever sound app you have as well. So
right,
easy to do. But anyway, okay, moving on. We had Whitney Cummings there on CNN, so let's just stick with legacy media, Blake, and of course the main topic coming up right after this. But will the legacy media only tell us the truth once it's exposed? So agree or disagree that the legacy media won't tell us the truth until it's already out there and they can't continue lying to us anymore?
Yeah, that seems to be the case now. Absolutely agree. And they frequently won't tell the truth until they're kind of forced to, until alternative media basically puts out the truth, makes them look bad, and then finally they're forced to say something about it. So we're seeing legacy media implode because they have covered up Biden's cognitive decline, and they also now are finally admitting that Biden, had a problem with the border, flooded the U.S. with illegal aliens, and they pretended like it wasn't anything going on. And then now they're finally retracting here. So let's watch MSNBC now, finally, January of 2025, finally admitting that, oh, yeah, maybe that was a problem.
We're not getting the audio. Hold on. Hold on. Your screen is not up yet. Your screen is up now. If you can restart the video, maybe it'll work. This
Weird. Okay.
Steve, let's turn to your second chart where you highlight how the border and climate change were major issues in the year that was.
What?
Yes, that's exactly right, of course, Jonathan.
No,
the border was not Biden's finest moment, frankly. You can see what happened here. And Trump is not wrong when he talks about how border crossings were quite low. They were running about 74,000 a month when he left office. And they, in fact, did shoot up. Some of it was some things Biden said and some ways that they put a moratorium, for example, on deportations. But in fact, we did get up here almost to 300,000 a month. But what maybe people don't entirely know is that border crossings have come back down almost to where they were under Trump. They're running at about 100,000 at the moment. So we went up the hill and we went down the hill, but unfortunately that was pretty costly to.
Oh my God.
During that entire time, they said nothing. They acted like nothing was happening. What prices?
Only 100,000 people breaking into the country illegally each month. That's all. I mean, we saw what Vegas can do and what New Orleans can do with 2 assholes. 2 monsters could cause that much damage in a day. But now it's reasonable numbers, back to 100,000 a month? Is that what they're trying to tell us?
Yeah.
My God.
Right. So where were they? It's a little too late for all of that. And if Biden had won, or Kamala, they probably wouldn't have covered this story, and they would just continue business as usual. Who's going to stop them?
Wow. Yeah. So lying legacy media, they're exposed. I don't know where they go from here. I don't know who legitimately still watches them. Do you have some people close to you in your life that consume this stuff unironically? I don't know that I have too many.
I don't know if there's still, I think there's still like people that, think New York Times or Washington Post or Wall Street Journal or something like that are credible.
No.
Some of these newspapers, but no, not when they got exposed so badly with so many different hoaxes. You really can't trust them for anything.
Well, if they're putting out hoaxes, they would ask, here's another question, Blake, agree, disagree that the First Amendment should not apply to paid speech. So as we're trying to understand what's what, and we argue over H-1B visas and what is CNN, and are they allowed to put out propaganda and straight lies that are causing violence out there, kind of rotting the brains of people to make them un-American and hate this country based on incorrect info, like we saw for 8 years, 12 of the last 16 years. Let's talk about it. Agree, disagree that the First Amendment should not apply to paid speech. What say you?
I guess I'm going to disagree. I don't know. I'm very conflicted on this one, and I need to know more information, but I am alarmed that there's a lot of people getting censored on the X platform now. Elon Musk was all exciting when he bought it, and he was supposed to be this free speech absolutist. But I'm noticing that, there's a lot of people that are getting, demonetized, or they're getting their badges taken away. And some of them I might disagree with, but I think they should be absolutely allowed to say whatever they want. And then you can either community notes them, or there's other ways of sort of policing speech without actually banning them. So, I mean, there's a lot of, accounts suspended. Let's dive in a little bit here. Ex-owner Elon Musk defending his decision to censor critics of his mass legal immigration agenda. That's the H-1B to get a lot of Indian immigrants into tech field. But he's saying the First Amendment does not provide protection for paid speech. So he says people getting demonetized for their inexcusable behavior, then complaining about free speech is hilarious to me, according to Nicole Bainham. She said, you can say whatever you want, you just can't get paid for it. Hope that helps. And exactly, Musk responded, the First Amendment is protection for free speech, but not paid speech, for fuck's sakes. So he said, everyone paying for Twitter, telling them you're paying to have a free speech now, but he has apparently changed his mind and decided to take that away.
That's
so,
very good.
Right. So here's Nicholas Fuentes, who I don't agree with on a lot of things, but he has, a right to say things. I think he's had his check mark taken away. So, because he's making us saying Twitter censorship is back, free speech is dead, but then you've got Seth Denlin of Babylon Bee saying if you've got 1.6 million views on your comment, it's not censorship. So then Elon even saying, claiming censorship while you're getting millions of views is the clearest possible evidence that Fuentes has shit for brains. So that was pretty bold to say that out.
Well, then maybe it needs a community note.
Was that Brian? I think your signal is weakening there.
Oh, you cannot be telling me I'm having a signal problem today on top of everything else. I was saying then it sounds like that deserves a community note.
Perhaps. So, yes, people were criticizing the H-1B program. I don't exactly know what they're saying because I can't see what they're saying because so many accounts have been suspended. And on New Year's Eve, he removed blue check marks from critics of his, including Stu Peters, I don't know who Myron Gaines is, Jake Shields, and Dr. Anastasia Maria Lupus. People that are also fierce critics of Israel. I've also noticed another one, Lucas Gage. I think he's gone, who I think makes, is fairly reasonable. I don't agree with everything, but I think it seems to be reasonable. I think Jake Shields puts out interesting information. I mean, Stu Peters, I don't agree with a lot of the stuff. Some of it's clickbait, it's hyperbolic, it's, and it's controversial. But again, I would disagree that they should be under some kind of there's got to be a different way of doing things rather than just, heavy-handedly, taking their badges away or suspending their accounts. I would like to know more about what they actually did or if they violated some terms of services. Now, Laura Loomer was caught up in that, but it turned out that she was banned because she doxed somebody and put their address up and then denied it and said she was being banned, but then later it turned out then she had to apologize.
Well, but it was also that there was information included on some document as a part of a series of documents, and it was perhaps, at least she says, it was unintentionally put it up there, and then it was remedied. I mean, what? Nobody's allowed to make a mistake? Like, that's some bullshit. Nobody's perfect.
Well, putting someone's address out is more than a mistake, right?
Telling people that's where George Zimmerman is, and he sends attack mobs to go to their house in Florida. That's an intention. Intention should matter when it comes to doxing.
Sure.
And I don't think this was intentional. At least that's my understanding of it with Loomer.
No, I don't know if it was intentional. And then she denied it, and then she finally had to say that it was the truth. So she did, whether it was indirect or what have you. But yeah, very aggressive against that policy, very hardcore. Began that whole split within MAGA over the H-1B visas. So yeah, so there's some alarming stuff out of this. So I don't know what to make out of this. So he said Musk sought to make amends with PM Bibi in Israel. And then he made a deal with the Anti-Defamation League to censor certain terms like river to the sea. Then he implemented a new system on X and then took a trip with Benny Boy Shapiro to Auschwitz. So people are saying that, there seems to be one group of people you are not allowed to criticize. And I disagree that, I think... Again, I think I'm a free speech absolutist, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to dig into this myself because I don't know all of the details, but I am alarmed, and I hope this trend does not continue. I want people that I disagree with up there. As long as it's not, hate speech or calling for violence or what have you, we should be able to criticize whoever we want.
And that's kind of where we get into who defines what hate speech is. We could switch over to the main story now, unless we had a few more things to cover on this, but I mean, talk about radicalization, talk about hate speech. I mean, who gets to define what that is? I bet we've watched this third Obama term with Biden as a puppet label all sorts of people and ideas and conversations as hate speech and dangerous rhetoric and radical this and that, and taking monetization away and ruining livelihoods because they're the ones that get to define what's hateful speech. As if there's a hate speech provision in the Bill of Rights, which there is not. Of course, the Bill of Rights exists so that it could specifically identify hate speech as something you're allowed to say. Otherwise, you don't need to define that you're allowed to say it. Oh, no. It means that you're allowed to discuss your grocery list for the week in public. That's not what it means. Well, the Second Amendment's only about armies. No, it's not. That's not what it means. It's about everybody having the chance to defend themselves, about everybody being able to say whatever hateful shit they feel like. But now we're running into this with where's the topic? I put another one up there about being radicalized from within. So, we've seen a couple attacks here already in the first 2 days of 2025. Like I said, the reason I'm broadcasting on the sports show is because the Buckeyes played in the Rose Bowl and won yesterday, but the Sugar Bowl was canceled in New Orleans because of an awful attack. And it turns out that this guy, the more that we learn about him, I guess he was living in a trailer park in a Muslim community, and they're saying that that's where he got radicalized from within to turn on the United States as a member of our own protection services. So it's a 72-hour rule. Nobody has every piece of information at all, but we're going to talk about as much of it as we can sort out as we can today, Blake. So where do you want to start today?
Okay, well, just finish this up. I think this is really an awful precedent of people getting away from YouTube and thinking that Twitter X is going to be the place to be, but now we're seeing some of the similar problems, even though it's privately owned, and we think that we got a good billionaire on our side. Is he being manipulated? I don't know all of it, so I hope that they can do something to address the situation and lay out exactly why these people are being suspended. Because they're taking livelihoods away from that too. So why am I? You complain about building a network on Facebook that can be taken away, or YouTube that can easily be shut your channel down. I've had a channel shut down, and now people X Twitter, not good.
I believe
you agree or disagree. Yeah, Stu Peters puts out clickbait shit. He does, but then call it out. Let him at least have his livelihood and his freedom of speech. I don't know. I guess I disagree with this, but I don't know all the details. So, and they're telling people this guy is a doctor. I don't know much about her. Dr. Anastasia Maria Lupus. I don't know what she said, but they're canceling all this. There's her subscriptions. She's got 1.5 million followers. I don't know what she did. Like I said, I follow Jake Shields. I appreciate people that put out bold opinions. He got, I don't know, he does misspell a lot of shit. So demonetized months ago. They removed his verification subscriptions. He'll be banned. I don't know. So anyway, something to keep an eye on. And that's all I'm going to say on that one.
I think the last show or the one before that, we were talking about it. And I very clearly said, it's great. I appreciate what Elon did. Taking over Twitter, turning into X, and that's great and all, but I don't trust X at all. I don't trust them any more than Facebook or Google. You got to prove it to me on a daily basis, kind of like science. Oh, the science is settled. There's no such thing as settled science. Science is robustly debated every single day. Yeah, well, we already proved that. I don't care what you think you proved. You're allowed to test an alternate hypothesis every single day. That's it. That's what science is, and that's what speech is supposed to be as well. So yeah, I don't trust X as far as I can throw it. We need Telegram. By the way, the New American Media is on TNAM and TNAM Chat, TNAM and TNAM Chat on both Signal and Telegram, TNAM and TNAM Chat. Find us there, because if we disappear one day on X at American_media_, find us on Rumble at the New American Media. So, by the way, however you're watching us, hit like, hit subscribe, please. Follow Blake on X at TV's Blake Wally. Dreamer, what's up, Dreamer? You may say that is Dreamer. He says libs don't discuss things, they take orders. So any discussion like H1B is seen as MAGA war by the libs. Yeah, that's true. This is a robust battlefield of ideas. America is supposed to be a battlefield of ideas. And you're right. The libs, they take their marching orders. They get their 2 a.m. Bullet points. Kenneth saying he doesn't trust X anymore. All right. Well done. Oh, could you imagine? I want to leave those memories behind in 2024. But yeah, it's interesting here. Blue check marks leaving. I was developing the New American Media website because I really haven't updated it in a while, and it's just I just find it. Regardless, I was in development conversations with the team to start a website called NewTube, and it was going to be an uncensored version. Of course, anything illegal, fine, but we had to do this back and forth. Well, what are you going to allow? And it's like, well, if something's illegal, then it goes to legal, and then you alert the authorities. I don't know, you take down something like that. And it's like, well, can you say this? Can you say that? And it's like, we quickly ran into places where the developer wanted to ban speech at a certain line, and I wanted to continue it. But then, of course, the more you continue it, you enter into really dark areas like the radicalization of military members to attack Americans on American soil, the radicalization. And heavy is the head that wears the crown. We want to be free speech absolutists. That's a weird phrase to say. Free speech absolutists, but there's always a line. There's always, then you enter into criminal territory. Now you enter into, it's not just dangerous rhetoric, it's about violence. American Princess is saying something went into effect somewhere. Where'd that come
I can't click the link because I can't really tell what that is. Washington's hate speech law just went into effect today, but I can't click the link.
Good God. Yeah, and that's happening across Europe. I saw where they arrested a guy because what he said was what he typed was making people feel uncomfortable. It gives me hope. I think some of the recent polls are showing if Canada held their elections today, Trudeau would get 6 members of parliament, and Bouvier, what the other guy's name, he would get 200 and something. Like it's almost a complete annihilation and smackdown of this stuff. But globalist puppets have been installed across the globe, across the world to, start clamping down on people, make everybody scared to stand up and speak out about what's going on. And there's radicalization that is calling for violence. And we just saw 2 cases of it. So, Blake, the radicalization from inside. Do you agree or disagree that soldiers are in danger of being Bo Bergdahl? Remember Bo Bergdahl? Obama let him out after he defected and turned turncoat, went traitor on us.
Yeah, I suppose they absolutely are. I don't know how they're being radicalized. Now, the New Orleans guys supposedly had an ISIS flag. I find it, I don't know if I can buy that they're being radicalized by ISIS. I don't know how you can possibly turn an American into a Islamist fanatic. So I don't really know if I believe that, but
I mean, we were in Chicago. We were in the middle of these marches with all of these flags being flown. Hating
ISIS flags.
There's a lot.
How many ISIS flags did you see while we were in Chicago? We went out with a group of activists and journalists, and we covered those events for like 4 days. Were they all peaceful? Were there radical elements? Were there ISIS flags? Were they hate speech? What was? I don't know. I thought they were, for the most part, it was pretty easygoing, and they had it well contained, a lot of security, but I didn't feel like I was in any danger at all. Did you feel like you were in danger? Like there's just some radical Hamas terrorists that are going to pop out and start firebombing? I mean, what did you think? And the journalists that we were with, I don't think would agree with whatever you're about to say either. Or would you think so?
I can't speak to anything anybody else would think, but
okay, well,
these are very anti-American interests, anger, rage.
Very anti-American, or do you think it was?
Yeah, very.
People that are outraged
in some regards, regarding some things, of course. Like you can't defend what Biden has done. If you go, well, Biden opened the border for 30 million people. I oppose that. Oh, you oppose America? You're anti-American. Okay.
Did you think that they were pro-Biden? These are people protesting the DNC.
Not pro-Biden. Not
right.
Pro-Biden.
Okay.
But find me anybody that's actually pro-Biden. All he was a puppet for Obama. And Obama started ISIS with McCain. So it's like, now we're just full circle again. We're just spinning on a hamster wheel. But yeah, there's some mixed allegiances going on. When you dump and double a population in Springfield, Ohio, and it's like, oh, now this is a Haitian enclave. You go to Minneapolis. Oh, this is a Somali pick your Dearborn, Michigan. Here's your, pick your Middle Eastern country. These are now enclaves. And you see what's going on in England. They're changing the whole country. There's no-go zones now. It's expanding. It's a caliphate. It's an attempt to take over the countries. It's an attempt to take over the cities, the municipalities, the states, to get your Ilhan Omars in positions of power. Now you got them in the Senate. Now you got infiltrators over here and there, people that do not like this country, do not want this country to have secure borders. They don't want us to have sovereignty. They don't like our rule of law. They don't like our way of life. It's an incompatible mixture of cultures that Obama's team has been placing across the globe. Oh, it's migration. No, it's bullshit. It's non-governmental organizations intentionally changing the demographics of the American communities, of the sovereign communities. You could go to Sweden, you could go to Ireland, you could go to the UK, you could go damn near anywhere, and you're seeing this happening. Because this isn't just, oh, what a phenomenon. It's like, oh, the autumn breeze is blowing through, so I think the pollen will be slightly higher this month. This isn't some natural force. This is being guided, and it's been this way for the better part of 20 years. So, yeah, I think there is a danger of radicalization, and I think this regime, the Biden puppetry of the Obama doctrine, the people that pulled his puppet strings, yeah, I think you're starting to see some of these chickens come home to roost. And we've had, what, how many attacks in just 2 days now? You know, canceling the Sugar Bowl just because, I guess, do we want to just get into the bare bones of what we know about this guy? You said allegedly an ISIS flag. You don't believe it? Because I thought we saw pictures.
No, I believe it. Okay. Let's see if I can pull this up.
There we go.
Ex-suspect from the military. He served in the military, so here's what we know. Yes, the man officials that say rammed a truck into a crowd in New Orleans, served in the U.S. military, left 15 dead. He was born in the U.S., enlisted in the Navy under a program, discharged a month later. And then he later joined the U.S. Army, was deployed to Afghanistan. And he was a human resource specialist, IT specialist also. And then, there he was in front of his computer as the IT guy. That was him in Louisiana. Served in the U.S. Army for many years and the Army Reserve. And that FBI officials, well, it's hard to say, but FBI officials say that Jabbar posted videos on social media indicating that he was inspired by the terrorist group ISIS, and that an ISIS flag was found in the rented truck that Jabbar used to allegedly carry out the attack. So, yeah, I guess I don't know. I'm skeptical of anything the FBI tells me. I'm skeptical of when they're trying to frame this around, oh, we found an ISIS flag in there. Maybe he did. Something is off. I just have a hard time believing that any American would see ISIS and go, yeah, that's a group I can relate to. I want to join that. Who the fuck would want to join that unless you were absolutely indoctrinated into it? You were born into it. If you grew up in the Middle East, maybe. I would think anybody else would want to get the fuck away from that and would rather, move to America and do whatever you want. So that's where I'm having an issue. Now, I could say
I would add, if that's not more than a rhetorical question, I would say a lot of the people that were waving Palestinian flags at Chicago for the DNC have absolutely been radicalized with their violent propaganda, with the divisive tactics of the left.
All right. Well, I disagree 100% with that. Most of those people are just
everybody there has been radicalized.
They're against what is happening in Palestine. They're against what they perceive as a genocide, where they're seeing a lot of innocent people killed, and they are protesting what's happening. And they want people to be more aware of that and to talk about that. So that's what I got out of it. I didn't think, oh, these are, pro-Hamas people that just hate Jews and they hate America. No, not at all. And do you think that's
you're right? I believe that.
There were other people I won't mention, but the people that we were with, the other activists and journalists, do you think that they would agree with which statement?
What the other statement?
What are you saying, Brian? You're saying that they're or radicalized by some elements, or that they're ISIS or Hamas, or they hate Jews, or which would it be?
Well, there's either big concerns or there's not a big concern. You just said that these are people that believe that a genocide is taking place because Hamas started a war, and then they're out there waving Palestinian flags, picking us up.
Who started what?
No. Regardless, it's absolutely relevant to who they decide to defend and wave the flag of. And if you say it's a genocide, now it's a life or death situation. They feel they're being attacked and trying to be wiped off the face of the earth. The counteraction to someone trying to kill you is self-defense, which is murder. So this is exactly how the domino clicks. It takes 3 clicks. There's nothing complicated about this, whether other journalists believe something or not. I mean, watching Hamas start a war and then defending the people that started the war and waving their propaganda flags around, there's some level of indoctrination there. Whether they truly are on the right side of history or not, they're definitely jumping onto the team that fucked around and found out. So there's a lot of concern there.
Okay, well, I would just see them as like anti-war protesters.
Many of them are. And many of them are great people who we interacted with, engaged with respectfully. Absolutely. We had great conversations.
It counters the narrative I hear on Fox or Fox Business where it's like, these are, Hamas, pro-Hamas people that just, they're anti-Semitic and they just hate Jews and they're all over the campuses. Like, no, I disagree strongly with that. I think these are just anti-war, the same people that have been doing these things for decades, whether it's Vietnam or Iraq, Afghanistan, or anything else. So there's a lot of those people that stand up for what they see as, innocent people getting bombed by the military and industrial complex. So I don't know. That was my takeaway with it. And I don't know. So I would disagree with that narrative that's put up by Fox. And we spent 4 days in Chicago. I didn't think I was in danger or that these people are just radical Islam that want to, cause extreme violence or what have you.
Chicago, the lack of energy and enthusiasm behind this. You could only imagine what it was like 4 years ago when all the cities were burning and Kamala was using the Minnesota Freedom Fund to bail people out for torching buildings in their own community. The Kyle Rittenhouse BLM Summer of Love riots that the Democrats fanned the flames of to really go on a terrorism campaign across America to get Trump out of office.
Do we see Antifa there?
I can only imagine what if the energy of what we saw at the 2024 DNC in Chicago was 100x like it was 4 years ago. But the same energy was not there. You can only compare.
Right. There was no Antifa presence. There was none of that. Did we see anybody? I don't think I remember seeing one.
I think if you're looking at a Venn diagram, I'm saying they overlap. There's definitely an overlap. If you look at the MasterCard with the Venn diagram, there's an overlap of people there that they could be radicalized, they could be radical, they could be correct, they could be polite, they could be jihadist.
Well, I thought they were peaceful protesters, but that's all good, right?
They were mostly peaceful that we saw, right? We saw mostly peaceful protesting. But so let's talk about this one that happened first with the Sugar Bowl that caused it to be delayed.
As Kenneth is saying, and as Frankie is saying, they're MK Ultra. Like that would be, to me, I can't believe anybody would ever be influenced by ISIS in a way that they would want to join that. I would say MK Ultra, or I'm thinking like. Won't run any clips, but like the Men Who Stare at Goats. That's one of my favorite movies where they're just, doing experiments and putting, LSD. They've been doing these kinds of things for a long time. So I would say that they were probably radicalized in some way like that. But of course, we're going to get into the meat of this because it does look like perhaps there's a connection between these terror attacks. It seems very obvious, but we'll get into that.
All right. So do you want to talk about New Orleans first with the barriers and how it was even allowed to happen? We could go a couple different directions here.
You tell me. You drive it. Is that all we got left?
Yeah. As far as radicalization, all right. Well, let's talk about the guy that did the radical act. I mean, regardless, plowing your vehicle into a bunch of innocent people. Look, you've been radicalized by something, whether it's something demonic, whether it's something political. Sometimes what's the damn difference? But let's talk about what actually happened here. I mean, there's supposed to be barricades in areas like this, walking areas, promenades, if you will. There's big metal. Am I using the word stanchion correctly? But posts, and they go down and they come up kind of like a lock in the Panama Canal or something. It's an ecosystem. It's an infrastructure build out, so that you can prevent cars from getting into this area and mowing people down. And then, of course, it's open. What is it, from like 3 a.m. to 5 a.m, so the trash trucks and all the delivery people can come and go, and then the posts go back up, and now everybody's safe again. And so like that's been heavily criticized and under scrutiny, deservedly so. And we're hearing a little bit of a reason. Some people would say it's an excuse, or some people would say like, oh, there's no way Israel was allowed to get attacked. Bibi must have known about it and let it happen. He must have made it happen. So the counter to that in New Orleans is, well, there's no way somebody could have driven in this space. They must have had inside information. Something must have been sabotaged to let this truck get through so that a false flag could occur so that it could lead into this next thing. And okay, so let's talk about it. What do we know about the barriers, the barricades?
Well, they were replacing those barriers at the time of the truck attack. What a coincidence. So on a busy night, Bourbon Street, New Year's Eve, they had been replacing the security barriers along which killed 10 people, injured more than 30. And officials conceded that a stopgap security plan did not work because this Shamsuddin Jabbar was able to drive around a police car and onto the sidewalk. So they did have a plan. They defeated it, according to New Orleans Police Chief Ann Kirkpatrick. Barriers had malfunction issues. And in response to the vehicle attacks on pedestrian malls around the world, New Orleans was in the process of removing and replacing the barriers known as bollards, or bollard, whatever, that restrict vehicle traffic in the pedestrian zone there on Bourbon Street. They'd first been installed in 2017 as part of a $40 million security plan, and that they were going to have new ones in place by the February 9th Super Bowl, which is about a mile away from there. So, I mean, there is the connection that the driver there, he was in Houston, but he had done, he'd served the Army, or at least was in Louisiana for part of that time. I guess I would think that I would agree that perhaps he was tipped out, because why drive all the way from Houston to New Orleans to do your attack there unless you knew that the barriers were down, the security was down, and now you're going to go in.
Well, and okay, so that's the question here. I'm looking at this feed. Brianna Morello was just saying the FBI now believes that this Jabbar guy was acting alone, according to MSNBC, and that they've ruled out that the two people allegedly seen planting IEDs were involved, that they were just bystanders. And so, like, it's a 72-hour rule trying to figure this out. But, what type of network are we talking about? Someone gets tipped off, so they go get the vehicle from Mexico, and it's rented through the same ride share that rents to we'll get to the Trump connection now in Vegas, but like, what kind of network are we talking about? We've seen Tren de Aragua taking over complexes in Aurora, Colorado, and problems all across Tennessee. And geez, I don't know how many states at this point. I mean, there's organized crime all over the place. This is the Democrat agenda to just station sleeper cells all over the place. But yeah, the question is, what is going on here with the rentals of the vehicles? And you have this post here connecting all three of these people. And I mean, we got to unpack this and try to figure out what's most likely at this stage. Because the FBI, that lady came out and said, oh, this is not terror related. Right after the police chief or the mayor said this is definitely a terrorist attack. Then the FBI lady came out and said, nope, this is not a terrorist attack. And then later in the day, she completely changes her story. And it's like, obviously, who can you believe? But it's also, who do you instantly disbelieve? I guess the FBI is at the top of that list, right? Disbelieve anything that...
Yeah, unfortunately, the FBI just does not have much credibility left. And yeah, they usually come in and fuck everything up. They come in to cover it all up. They come to take over and cover it all up and make shit worse. It's funny because I just watched, Die Hard for Christmas, and that was the same thing. As soon as the feds get in there, oh, now we're gonna run the show, and then they mess things up.
They did that in North Carolina with Hurricane Helene, by the way. Shout out to Square Table Degenerates. He joined yesterday. Joe Varell, howdy, howdy. We watched the Ohio State Buckeyes just put an ass whooping on the formerly number 1 Oregon Ducks. And he says, did you know the game is on right now that we keep referencing, the Sugar Bowl? 0-0 game there at the in first quarter. So, yeah, thank you for that. What's up, Joe? We did a great live a live watch party. Buckeyes crushed. Did you watch my Buckeyes game yesterday, Blake?
I did. I watched both the games. I would have watched the third, but got postponed till today, till just now. So
Yeah, the show must go on. But, I definitely had an instinct saying, well, why would they cancel the game? Why would they do that? I don't like that they're doing that. But then it worried me. I'm like, oh, shit. Is it stuff that they know? Or is it stuff that they know that they don't know? Or stuff that they don't know if they don't know? So it was an overabundance of caution.
I think it really ruins the
understand.
vibe when it's like, okay, we're going to have this event like less than 24 hours and there's still have, blood in the streets. I agree if they had to postpone it a day, but
Dreamer says all the disinformation flows so that no one can really follow or remember the real details. They do this every time. So what do we think we know with the panel you have here with these three people? What is this one about?
This is Lara Logan. She's an investigative journalist. She says that this should serve as a warning to how deeply our military has been infiltrated by our domestic enemies, working with foreign adversaries. It should not be used as they would like to demonize the military veterans, special ops, and Green Berets who are meant to be educated in cerebral. People always say the lack of education is the problem, but she's been a journalist for 35 years and thinks education is often the problem. Case in point, these guys were indoctrinated to hate Trump, hate this country, and hate the people. And here's the suspects. Yesterday's attacks on the outsides here. They both served at Fort Bragg, same military base that Ryan Ruth. This is the second Trump assassin from the golf course there in Florida. Visited over 100 times. This Ryan Ruth visited 100 times at Fort Bragg. He was probably trying to get recruits that could find that hate Trump or want to help in Ukraine. So. Yeah, there is a connection here, even though the FBI says there is not. So details emerge about the truck terror attack in New Orleans, the Tesla Cybertruck suicide bombing, Trump's hotel in Las Vegas, where I have been. I've had a meal in there. So to boil it down, both perpetrators appear to have extensive U.S. Army backgrounds, service records at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, during the same time frame, and they both rented their respective vehicles from Turo, and that is a vehicle rental share marketplace. So those are too many coincidences and attacks that are within a few hours apart. So I'm definitely calling shenanigans. You would have to say these are connected unless you can find a reason to say they're not. But that won't stop. Let's see, Brian, I think you sent me this from Instagram. Was this the FBI? The FBI Deputy Assistant Director Christopher Raya was having this press conference.
At this point, there is no definitive link between the attack here in New Orleans and the one in Las Vegas. And again, I'll preface everything with what I started with in the beginning, which was this is very early in an investigation like this. At this point, there is...
Okay, both served in the Army, both served the same base, both have IT guys, both rented a vehicle from Turo, both of them were also electric vehicles. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming for the torque and the silence that you can plow through a crowd without alarming too many people, and it can do a lot of damage. And then plus the barriers were down in Houston. I think this is Kyle Becker saying the exact same things, but they're trying to say that they just somehow acted alone, even though we do know that this is don't believe your lying eyes. Right. And now we've got, the alternative media basically picking this narrative apart.
I think you have some music playing in that little box there. So let's talk about the Trump event. I mean, we kind of mainly focusing on the barriers being down and this guy mowing, 16 unfortunate souls?
Yeah.
I would be careful on any of those videos to anyone who has not spent some time doing it, because you'll see some awful stuff. It's been a few days of awful videos. I saw a new one from the subway attack that was set on fire. Just disturbing stuff that you can't unsee, and it's unfortunate. So be careful out there playing.
Well,
videos.
those are all pixelated.
Yeah, but I while I was doing the show prep during this show, I was looking up, trying to find the FBI lady so I could play the clip of her lying to people, saying that this is not a terrorist attack, shortly before she changed her opinion completely. And I saw a new uncensored video that I had not seen, and it's just it's your brain is not used to seeing humans in those positions, and it's bad. It's not good. It's not good. So anyway,
I usually avoid that stuff. I don't like to see people getting.
Yeah, same here. But then, yeah, so obviously are both of these New Year's Day attacks connected? And hello, Deb from Sacramento. Good to see you as well. Happy New Year.
Hello. Happy New Year.
How did you celebrate, Deb? And what are your New Year's resolutions? But yeah, I mean, talk about, so now you have that guy. He got out of his truck in New Orleans and engaged in a firefight when he was killed by cop, I believe, is how that played out. Reports of IEDs, and now maybe they're backtracking on that. Maybe there were as many as 4 people. Now maybe they're saying 0. We're still trying to fully understand what these reports mean. But let's talk about the Trump guy. You know, we saw a Tesla on fire outside of the Trump hotel. And for a while you heard, oh, it was a battery malfunction. Oh, wow, that's convenient. That takes Tesla stock down, and it totally makes light of the situation. But it's like, oh, this is probably a coordinated attack as well. And it turns out that this guy self-immolated himself. He immolated himself. He was inside the vehicle when it went off. And it's really weird, because actually Tesla stock is down today, last I checked. But if you look at how that vehicle survived that explosion, I'd say that's a pretty decent commercial endorsement for the rugged nature of the Cybertruck. I mean, that thing hardly looks damaged at all, aside from the glass. Like, the shell of it just maintained complete. And it kept an explosion from busting through those windows of the Trump hotel. So let's talk about this one in Vegas, your former backyard, Blake.
Okay, well, the Cybertruck bomber is ID'd as the cops reveal a questionable past and potentially concerning link to the New Orleans massacre. So, former U.S. Army Special Forces veteran, potential connections to a deadly, they say, an ISIS-inspired attack. Well, that's one in New Orleans. Okay, so not both, but I mean, this is kind of like a suicide bombing, so that would be similar to what ISIS tactics would do. Here's he's on LinkedIn. He was an operations director and intelligence manager with Special Forces experience. Matthew Livelsberger from Colorado Springs there died in the blast after allegedly detonating explosives inside a rented Cybertruck at the hotel's valet area. He served
both rented through the same site, Blake. Both vehicles, 2 attacks within the same day. I mean, come on. Like, this feels very obvious to me, right?
Oh, 100%. Everybody sees it except for the FBI, but they don't control the narrative anymore. So
why is the FBI not so like, why did they become traitors? Why are they lying? Why are they trying to destroy this nation? It's just the Obama doctrine. The wrong people got in charge for too long, and they've just been running ops to destroy this country from the inside out. Is it that simple, or are they inept, or they're just trying to keep their cards close to the vest so that, you know, we don't give away too much information? I know it's always like this blurry, they're hiding info, or they're the actual bad guys. I'm still trying to make sense of it.
I think that would lead to a particular, perhaps there's a connection that they have been, say, radicalized, or they've been part of, as they're saying, MK Ultra experiments or something. And there's the connect. They don't want us to see the connection to Fort Bragg, because when we start digging in there and we're saying, well, what's happening, or what's going on there, or what kind of programs are they running, that could be potentially catastrophic and embarrassing for the military-industrial complex if they're actually have a hand in radicalizing these soldiers and to use them as pawns in their political games.
Yeah.
So they don't want us looking or noticing the connections. They just wanted to make it sound like it's separate, just a coincidence, and then sweep it all under the rug.
And remember, when Obama was in charge, ISIS was running roughshod all across Northern Africa, Middle East, this, that, the other. Trump gets in. He's like, what the hell's going on? Why was Obama taking over the military controls and saying you can't bomb here, you can't bomb there, you can't bomb this spot? He was literally working for the bad guys that they created to destabilize all those regions, trying to spark a proxy war in Syria against Russia. Trump gets in. ISIS is eliminated within 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It was done. It was all gone, blown to shreds, annihilated. And then you get Biden back in for a third Obama shadow term now. And look what we're back to. We got 3 more weeks of this crap before Dad comes home, and we'll see where it goes from there. We asked what people did for their New Year's resolutions. Deb is saying she wants to marry Blake in the coming year and win the lottery in that order, or would marrying Blake be the equivalent to you winning the lottery? What did you do on
Win the lottery? Right. Find other options. But yeah, okay. Well.
And for New Year's Eve, she spent the New Year's Eve pole dancing. That's
awesome.
Good exercise. Yeah, and we're talking about the FBI. FBI. Well, I can make a pole dancer joke there. Or I could just talk about the collapse of the United States. There's a couple different segues to use that joke, Kenneth, but we'll just move on instead. So, yeah, I mean, this guy outside of the Trump Tower, this is a message. It was in a cyber truck. That's a message to Elon. It was at the Trump Hotel, a message to Trump. I mean, we're not out of the woods with these assassination attempts, are we? And should we expect more of this stuff in 2025 now? Have all the sleeper cells been activated, essentially?
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I think we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. I have not heard this interview, but I know Mike Adams and Alex Jones were discussing the impending collapse of the globalist matrix and the frantic efforts of elites to maintain control. And yeah, they're talking about all the potential false flags, ops, stage pandemics, crisis actors, and the overt phase of globalist control in 2025, going at global depopulation, perhaps. Blue beam, a lot of stuff, but yeah, I think basically the point here is that I think you're going to see a lot more of this type of stuff. So this is the globalists fighting back. They're not taking this well. That they have lost once again here in America, and they're going to instill terror on the public and find ways to crack down somewhere, whether it's speech or what have you, or if they're going to do another pandemic. I could see them doing all kinds of stuff. So I would agree with that. Definitely, they're not going to go away. Oh, you guys won. We're done. Nope. They sent a message big time on New Year's, and there will be more to come. So everybody needs to be extremely vigilant this year. And yeah, we don't know who came over the border, and we don't know what people are being, recruited within our own military, people that we should be able to trust. So.
Yeah, that's incredibly disconcerting. Just all of the events that Trump's going to have to be at. It's like, can you even trust the people that are standing around? This is awful. This is a really bad start. But I mean, it's not like we expected that the bad guys were just going to walk away, because we know what's at stake. Deb is saying she's going to raise the bar really high in 2025.
Right.
How about that? Let's raise the bar really high. Let's not allow this to take us too far off track. However, if you've ever thought about becoming more prepared, this would be the best time ever to do so. So find a way to level up in your life, your physical fitness, your mental fitness, your spiritual fitness, your financial fitness, like every area you can level up. If this is a role-playing game like Final Fantasy or something, how can you level up these different categories? Open up the chests, use the coins, buy the gear, buy the better sword, find a better way to make sure that you can protect yourself in and outside of your home, and to contribute to your local community, your city, your state, and your country. We saw that awful video of, New York, that poor lady was set on fire and killed a week or two ago. And we saw just a couple days ago, guy came up behind some dude and pushed him in front of an oncoming subway car. I guess he's in serious but stable condition. I don't know how he survived, and I'm still trying to get more info on it. But you look at the video and the guy had his head down and he was just looking at his phone. And this idiot jumps over the turnstile and just blasts him in front of a train. So just situational awareness. Keep your head up. Keep your head on a swivel. Look around at the things around you. If someone comes at you aggressively, be ready to defend yourself with your life. Give everything you have and assume that someone might be trying to take you out. It's a sad state of affairs, but situational awareness is key. You can let your guard down a little bit when you're in your personal property and you're within, the cozy confines of your home environment. But man, when you're out and about in the universe, please, eyes up, pay attention. And it's like Jordan Peterson says, there's no virtue in being harmless. The virtue comes from becoming deadly and deciding not to use it unless you're pushed into a corner one day or threatened. So yeah, strange times indeed. Just level up, be careful, be prepared. And we'll keep giving you the news as we have it. I'm sure there'll be a million more stories to cover next Tuesday, Blake. On Agree to Disagree. Did we leave anything on the cutting room floor that we wanted to get to that did not fit into any of our neat little packages?
Well, I guess you posted this video. I posted this video. I took it down because I thought it was somebody was recycling something from a few years ago, but it was actually the White House, I guess, that they reposted a YouTube video like it was fresh. It's not fresh. It's from a few years ago, but it's weird that they would choose to repost this, saying the time to move forward is now. Let's check this out. It's only a minute long, but it's disturbing, and it shows you how weird the times were during this pandemic.
Takes it down for piano. Copyright.
You want me to take it out? I don't know if that's what I'm doing. I can turn the volume down. I don't know.
Yeah, fine. Take it. We're not missing much by the gentle piano. Time to dream, time to learn, time to love, time to recover.
Look at everybody's like wearing a freaking mask.
And they put this out today. They shared this today.
Right. So even though this video is technically from 3 years ago, they still chose to post this away and says the time to move forward is now. But that looks like backward.
Yeah, the way backward is now. And so you're saying this came out 3 years ago? Because it definitely featured Kamala Harris well before she staged a coup to overthrow Joe Biden in the 2024 Democrat primaries to oust him. So that's an interesting component. Yeah, very creepy. Why would this come out? Like just seeing everybody in their mouth shields, like you're just very slavish, very slavish.
Well, they did put community notes on it a while ago, but then maybe they took them down.
So this kind of came out a couple hours. We're still trying to figure out what the hell this is and what it's about. But the White House shared this. We didn't come up with this. This went out on the White House account.
Yeah, so I think that's what I was. This is originally what I had, and I retweeted it. But then they had a community note saying it was from 3 years ago. So then I untweeted it, and then it turns out they took the community notes down because it was something that was reposted. People were thinking it was new, but either way, it's still messed up.
Yeah, and we've had reports of strange fog all across the East Coast. We've had drones over New Jersey and a lot of other places for weeks and weeks on end. We have some sickness going through. We got people threatening that there's going to be a new pandemic on January 21st, the day that Trump takes his first day of office. You got to hurry up and get your V for the thing. What are we even talking about? It feels like they're going to try to run back another season and do a sequel. So yeah. Okay. Pick up that music already. Fine. Yes, I will. I know I need to, I just got to go do it. Face diapers. Deb says we should have just ignored the media and gone on with our lives. I know, man. I yelled as loud as I could everywhere that I could to try to bring some sanity to the situation. But yeah, it's stark contrast between then and now, and it's going to be important that we see it. We see it for what it is. Orion spiral arm. Yes, the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy. I did say that, didn't I? I think I did. Okay. We're going to be doing a show with TV's Mike Barra. Yeah. We're gonna do strictly football coming up in about 15 minutes here. So we're gonna wrap up this agree to disagree show. There it is, strictly football, everybody. Look at this. We got playoffs coming in. Will Blake Wally be gracing us with his presence today? Always has an open invite to talk about his incredible Sam Darnold-led Minnesota football Vikings. Holy shit. You guys are going to battle the Detroit football Lions for dominance in the West. And it's like the loser goes to like the 11th seed.
Yeah.
You get the number 1 seed or the 15th seed, something like that. I think you go to 5 if you don't win the division. That's crazy. That's almost as crazy as Ohio State being ranked 8 in this college football playoff. Good luck. We're clearly the best team in college football.
It was ranked. Don't seem to matter. Because Boise State was 4. I don't know.
Yeah, but Arizona, some of these buys, some of these teams who got buys, obviously the number 1 team, Oregon Ducks, they deserved it. Some of these other teams did not deserve a buy. But that being said, Blake, you have an open invitation should you choose to join us in about 14 minutes. Talk about the Vikings, and then we could release you after 5. Or you could stick around and just talk some football, because it's about draft picks now. It's about playoffs, and all of that jazz. I love football time this year. Love it so much, which is why it's still my backdrop for my Ohio State Buckeyes. Moving on. So,
right. I hate these spontaneous. Hey, do you want to stick around and do another 2 hours of live radio? It's like, oh, not really. Can we do this later? Can I have an hour to recharge, get a cup of coffee, or do I have to jump right in and do another big show?
Yeah, grab a cup of coffee. I'll tell you what, I would, if that's what you would like, I'll hold off on the
Vikings. That's all good. Yeah, no, this is your thing. I think it's cool. I've done a couple of cameos. I did one full show, but you're adding another third person. It just makes the show so much longer, and I'm trying to, just trying to move it along, what have you. So, no, it's a cool show. So maybe I'll check it out. I don't know if I'm going to be on it or not. So I don't know. I could maybe jump in.
Perfect. Well, then here's what I'm saying.
Right.
Number 1. This could be your first Super Bowl season.
Or you should have asked me the other week when Mike, all of us, he'd be bailed or whatever. Then you did the show solo. So you could have asked me there. But anyway, no biggie. No, it's cool. So you guys do you. Maybe I can join in for a little bit, but I don't know. We'll
Deb is saying your audio is very crisp and clear today. That's good. Do you mean my audio or Blake's audio? Either way, that's good. Clear audio is fantastic. New year, crisp audio. New year, who dis? All right, cool. Well, Blake, thank you very much for joining us today. Tell people on the way out just where they can follow you one more time, please.
TV's Blake Wally on Twitter, and the archive is always on the Next Level News. If you want to catch all the shows. So thank you very much. Good to see everybody.
Yes. Thank you, everybody in the chat room. There it is on the screen at TV's Blake Wally, thenextlevelnews.com. And if anyone wants to support independent journalism, he's on Venmo at Blake-Wally or Cash App, $Blake W99. Blake, thank you so much. To be continued, sir.
Thanks, guys.
There he goes. And I'm going to go now because we're going to relaunch Strictly Football coming up in just a few minutes. I appreciate you. I love you. We'll talk to you again soon. Go Buckeyes. Don't let monsters ruin your day or your life. But my God, please take this seriously. America's under attack. Did they all just get the anything goes in 2025 orders? I don't know. But if I were a bad guy and I just let 30 million in and I positioned them in strategic locations for sleeper cells to activate as soon as they get a text message from me or when it's January or whatever timeline you want to start it at, just keep your head up. Keep your head on a swivel. Be aware of your surroundings, because the healthier you are, the more likely it is you can defend your loved ones, yourself, your local community, and that you can come back here and join us as we unpack the daily data dump, trying to filter out what's accurate, what's false. It's kind of a full-time job figuring out the difference. We do our best, and your comments definitely make it a lot more enjoyable. So thank you so much. Blake Meister taking off. Yes, thank you, Kenneth. Thank you, Deb from SAC. Bye, guys. Take care. Yeah, we'll be right back with Mike Barra and myself on Strictly Football. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.